So, Yoran,
Yes.
what's up, my brother? How's it going?
Good. Part 2.
Part two,
Part
yes,
two.
actually, that's true. Yeah, Yoran, actually, you're the first guest that was in the podcast, the ever first guest when I was still doing it with iPhones at home.
Yeah, well, it worked, but guys moved up.
It moved up a bit,
man.
yeah, exactly. Good to have you here, man.
Thanks, man.
Good to have
Thank you
you.
for the invitation once again.
Yes, of course, man. I was just watching, Van Wolf.
Yeah.
Really, really nice film, man.
Alright, thank
Want
you.
to ask you some stuff about it.
Okay.
We can just jump right into it.
There you go. Yeah, man.
The movie starts with you, basically how like the composition process that you have.
Yeah.
Because I guess you're working with Sibelius, and you're working like with the keyboard.
Yeah, it's like a small house, or an old house, I must say. It's also not very big, but it's an old house. So, I have a piano,
Yeah,
but, you want to be respectful to the neighbors and stuff like that.
such a Dutch thing, I always hear it,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I have this, but I want to be respectful to the neighbors. you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, I think it's the biggest issue in this country,
Space and
neighborly
neighbors.
conflict. So it's like, yeah, so it's.
Do I know of? Yes.
All right, okay. So there you go.
Oof,
Who am I telling then? I guess.
Yeah, we're literally in the process of handing in a restraining order.
And is it because of the piano or what?
It's because of
A lot of different
it's
things. So
because
can
of-
you imagine if the piano gets involved?
It's an accumulation of so much.
We even
bullshit.
had a neighbor in my mom's house, and he played the piano as a hobbyist. That was even worse because he played the same thing at the same time. Like by 9, or he was playing like this weird type of disco thing on the piano, and that was his release. I don't know, his form of release. It's like, man, and we just got fed up. Never made one complaint, and then if we would do something, they would, he would come up. I guess it was his wife or something.
Ah,
It's like,
okay. So he played, but
He
then when
played,
you played, then they made a
yeah,
complaint.
So, yeah, so you know how they do.
Yeah,
So
that's not cool, man.
well, so long story short, also it was easier for me because then, as you probably know, then the notation goes right into the system. And,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I send it out to the guys, and they do much better work with it.
So like you basically make like do you make the notation as accurate as possible for your concept, or do you, because I saw Timothy also sitting sometimes like checking it in the film, of course.
Yeah. So a combination of both. So sometimes, of course, because I wouldn't say I'm a very experienced Sibelius user. So sometimes I make like these typos or mistakes, or it's like I put something. It's like it shifts to a different part of the page, and then it's like
The
it's not
layout,
supposed
yeah.
to be there. And especially because I do end up procrastinating a little bit. So at 4:00 at night, everything looks perfect, and then you wake up and you go like, "Wow, this is bad. This is really bad. This is a mess." That happened on that occasion, especially because I started inviting way more, because that particular session there were actually way more people than you see in the movie. They were like, I had 2 extra guitar players that day, and another piano player. So all these great people that are my friends. So there was the band, and there was Vlado. He's a guitar player.
Ah, Vlado, okay.
You know
cool.
Vlado,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We teach together music because he's
There you
like
go.
right next to me.
Ah, right. And then there's Ulrich, who was also guitar, and Ruben, and was also another bass player, Louis. So Ruben and Louis, their brother. So there were many more people. And then I said, okay, I have to write down something, and then I did it eventually. Also, I'm not super comfortable with it necessarily, and then I woke up, I printed the stuff. It's like, oh my god, this is not good.
Yeah, that's why you need to take breaks.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because at some point it's like.
Yeah, it was just, the whole thing was a mess, and it, and when I double checked it, it wasn't. But I guess something, never mind. But that happened.
I think with when you export to PDF,
There
it
you
becomes
go.
like
Yeah.
like this funky thing.
I mean,
know?
even that, I do export, and then I do like the wrong export, and it's like I wasn't meant for this age necessarily. With it. So I'm trying to adjust, but
Yeah, I hear you. So, but what I was interested in, because you said in the film, you said like you said something very that let's say I connect to, is that does originality actually exist in that sense? Like, you've listened to so much music, you do your best to be original, but at the same time, does originality exist in that sense? And how do you actually expand yourself, your toolbox as a composer?
Yeah, I mean, I remember last time that we were here, it's like I also mentioned that it's still quite new for me. So, you know, even like the bad thing with decibelius is all part of because I'm not that experienced necessarily yet, you know. But creativity or originality, yeah, it's a fair question. I think we were just born in a time where, well, it's of course it's very interesting times. But basically, everything that we have to accept the fact that a lot of stuff already was done for us, so to speak. So it's at the same time it's more what's the right word? It's less confrontational to find something out. You know, some people have peace with it. Some people really want to have this urge to create something that they could call their own. It's just very difficult to do that, you know, because we have 120 plus years of, I think by now, recorded audio, you know. So
Absolutely.
you know, and you haven't heard it all,
No.
for sure. So it's
And you won't.
probably not. No. But I think the originality comes from a different spot than like the instrument per se. It's the experience, of doing it and what you bring to the table. So, you know,
When you say it, you mean like actual just sitting and like trying
the
things
making,
out?
yeah,
the making,
the making of it. You know, I would say, you know, cultural heritage, you know, can be a big plus, or, you know, or a deficit if you don't really consider having one. But, you know, this is a place where I think I consider myself lucky, fortunate, that I have a big cultural heritage that I can take stuff from without owning it, you know, because that's also very important.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's very easy to again, a lot of people before me did the work already. So it's very easy for me to just continue what they were doing. And I'm partly doing that, but it's also it was instilled in me to go and find use it, but you know, find an own way as well. But it's very easy to take something and just run with it without let's put it like, you know, naming the sources or something, like, you know. It happens a lot, right? Everybody knows.
Absolutely.
It's like, you know, there's many fights about, you know, I made this, and you know, it goes back to the old days. The guy that recorded it first is not necessarily the guy that, you know, let's call it the Marconi thing for lack of better, right? So I think it's very important to always kind of acknowledge that people did something before you.
Yeah.
Before you take a step and try to continue in a different path, so to speak. But where were we again? Like the creation part. So yeah, exactly. Then I would say my cultural heritage gives me a lot of information that is not necessarily related to my instrument or the
Is
music
it also
that I make.
not connected to music at all in that sense? Do you look for sources of inspiration also outside of the music that are connected to cultural heritage?
Maybe sometimes. You know, I think that's more like
Literature,
when it comes
for
to
instance, or-
literature definitely, because I here we go. I wasn't meant to do this, but the next thing that is going to come out is based on a book. It's
The
as simple
Segu.
as that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. So where were we?
I mean, I
Definitely.
bought this book because of you. You know,
Oh, you
I
bought
read
it? Yeah,
man,
well,
I read
that's
it.
good
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the.
yeah.
I think the writer recently passed.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but you know, it's good for the estate then.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a great book. I
It's a
hope you-
great book,
you know what
man.
I mean?
It's
So
it's
that's why.
very very like. It took me a long while because it's really intense.
it's
man.
quite intense. Yeah, it's not
very
nice.
Intense.
It's
very like. This the stuff that people that they had to go through.
had to go through. In a way,
Exactly.
people still go through. You know, I mean, like less severe maybe, but just the whole personal journey of somebody starting very hopeful and then they end up like middle-aged, dreams are gone. If they didn't die,
Exactly.
like the best outcome in that, but I mean, go read it if you haven't read it,
Segu.
like,
Yeah, exactly.
but it's not pretty, and in a way still it is.
So much abuse, trauma, and then silence around it also,
Yeah.
like the thing of not having the space actually to process it, although it stays in the body.
Exactly, and it becomes a generational thing and all this, but still they find some kind of resilience, resistance, and this is also the message that I take out of it. And as we are talking about the themes of the stories, so I didn't write any like chronological stuff, like it's not a telling of a fiction of a person. It's just that the themes that are still they're still applicable today in a sense. I mean, like a lot of stuff is happening, and you can see the same patterns. And this book starts 400 or 500 years ago.
Yeah.
And you can still make parallels to modern times and stuff like that.
Human experience.
Human experience, exactly. So human experience is definitely something that I'd like to take and use for my process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you, when you, let's say, start the process like this, composing, basically that it's inspired from a different discipline.
Yeah.
Is it something that you let it come to you in terms of the melodies, in terms of the structure of the songs, or are you working more structured and like, okay, now I need this, now I need that, this is the atmosphere that I want to create, or is it more like chaotic in that sense?
No, I think it's a bit of both. I presume that the better I'll become at making songs or composing, maybe the more structured I get, but I'm not very sure. Right now it's very sketch based. Some songs, not everything. Also because I know, as I mentioned many times, that the people that I work with at this moment, are very, 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 very capable of taking it somewhere exactly where you wanted it to go, and then beyond that. So that is a big, like the group of people that I have, literally my group of friends. They are also very much in mind when I make this music. So it's, I won't say I'm very dependent on them, but definitely there's some dependence on their capabilities. And I can always feel assured that when I give something to any band member, it's going to go somewhere beyond. Yeah, that's very, very, very.
That I could see also. I mean, I could see that in the film, or I could see like in concerts that I attended of your group. It's like, of course, there's like, I didn't get that feeling of like hierarchy that much. Of course, you're the leader of this thing and you're the visionary of it.
Well,
but there's also a lot of respect and understanding of what everybody brings to the table. And they have a voice, and they have they have like a lot of space. Actually,
I think that's very important. First of all,
it's transformative leadership, huh?
I'm not familiar with the term, but I guess that that could be. Yeah, I just respect the guys a lot, and we went through so much similar phases development-wise, and we were also part of each other's development at one point. Earlier or later, and this being Amsterdam, everybody got to know each other at one point for sure. So I'm just very happy that this group of people is together in this, and that's the only credit that I feel comfortable taking. That is like, okay, I feel perfectly happy organizing that we can play in this formation. But as far as and I'm very honored that they are willing to, put their effort into my ditties. But as far as capabilities, we're pretty much equals, for sure. Because they are all very capable on their own respective instruments, and sometimes even outside of their own instrument that they're playing with me. But they have so much other capabilities, some that I don't possess necessarily, you know. So why then make me like the so-called, you know, spearhead of the group? You know, I'm willing to bring the guys together, and I think I mentioned this before. It's like they have a free pass, so they can come back or leave anytime they want. You know, they'll always be like, definitely first choice, so to speak. But we're all equally capable. So it makes no sense to behave like a leader in that sense. You know, it's like they need no guidance at all.
What is it for you when you say to behave like a leader? What does that mean for you? How does that get expressed? I'm saying on the negative aspect.
Well, first of all, I don't think I'm a disciplinarian. So, also, I don't really have the need to stand out. But I like when people excel. So I think I always liked a leader, and I've always been used to people leading to bring the best out of you, not to make you part of their dream or to make you part of their process to excel. You know, which is both ways. Both ways are fine, you know, because some people have different goals. I think in our field of business, you experience the one a little bit more than the other. But I think definitely if you know that the people that you surround yourself with have capabilities that are equal to leadership, it's no need to become like there's no need to restrain them for your own purposes. Yeah. So I've always believed that as a leader, be very much aware of the people that you involve. Rest assured that they are very responsible, so you don't have to emphasize and make sure that they can be themselves 100. You know, so for instance, I take a lot of how do you say? No, I want to make sure that they feel 100% comfortable when we work together.
Yeah.
Which also means that I embrace them as their personalities fully, you know, and you know sometimes, no, just like so the way they come, that's what I need them to bring, and I hope that then they feel comfortable to perform to the best of their abilities, and that's with most people that I would like to work with, you know, not on the basis of you come and work for me, because I don't think that really helps them feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think I think that's the best way to run a group. You know, maybe if it's more like a hierarchy thing. Well, even like, you know, sports, because I believe this is it's a group process.
Yeah, we talked about the thing with football.
Sports, so it's and it's just team sports. You know, like I think if you have people that are, you know, if they are aware of their responsibilities, you don't have to do much.
Yeah.
Because they just do it themselves, and it would be ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, to try to call the shots because you're the supposed leader.
Yeah.
I don't really believe in that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where the art comes into, like the art of leadership. I call that, of like being able to. Yes, to let's say create the space for the person or the individual to be able to express themselves, but to facilitate it, you know, as a leader. Like let's say booking the gig.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I'm willing to say. Okay, I can do that. That's
what I mean. Like booking the gig, or like bring initial ideas, or like something like, hey, we have this thing that is happening. What do you think about that? You know, because you have laissez-faire leadership, which is just like, I just let things happen, and I don't know what is going to happen. And then you have directive leadership, which is just, you're going to do what I tell you, and if not, I replace you and stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then you have transformative leadership, which is really seeing the, let's say, the quality of the individual in front of you and bringing that out, or at least not bringing that out, but letting that quality shine and be able to be cultivated.
Yeah, I think in our business that's the only way.
Yeah,
Because you expect people to bring everything.
yeah, exactly.
I think that's very important.
I think
Very,
especially
very
also
important.
in the type of music also, because
Maybe, yeah.
I'm thinking like when we play together, like my program, I say called my program,
Yeah,
so,
of course.
you play very different, you know what I mean? Like because it brings other stuff, and I actually don't. I don't think, did I ever tell you how to play? I don't remember.
No, not really.
Did I?
Not
I don't
really.
really remember. That
No,
now.
but it's
Right.
like you bring the people together to.
Yeah.
I think that's very. It's very connected to, especially extremely creative music.
Yeah.
You bring the people in already knowing what could possibly happen.
Yeah,
And,
it's something. You know what? I think I heard it like in an interview with Ambrose Akinmusire that he said, "I don't necessarily write interesting music. I call interesting musicians."
I think that's very spot on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's true that it's like you could literally. I mean, imagine impressions, for instance. Composition wise, this is. I mean, it's two chords. You have a very simple melody that is happening there. But it's really dependent on the musicians that are executing it and how they're executing their culture, the heritage, the language, what they're
Bring
bringing.
everything. Yeah.
Exactly. And then that affects and that transpires into every single thing that the composer chooses to do. And of course you have the classical thing, which is like, this needs to be this way.
Yeah, I'm not even so sure about that. That it was supposed to be that way. At one point maybe people decided that it's because it's easier, or I mean, it happens in our music too, right?
But the issue that I have with classical music, and that's the conversation that I had with a lot of classical musicians, like, how do you know that it was supposed to be that?
You don't.
You have no reference.
You don't.
Music
No.
that was written 300 years ago, what is the reference? What, because someone wrote on a piece of paper? You can't know. And then there was this canonical thing that happened, like reference of like Conservatory of Conservatory and this, and then all of a sudden they put it on tape, and then you have like, this is how it should be.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It's very debatable. I think there's many. I mean, like, I don't know. Like you said, you had those discussions. I think sometimes I think usually they refer to like these legendary recordings, maybe that then at one point becomes like the reference or something. Like, I'm not sure. But,
yeah, and then that's a very problematic thing, because recording is way younger than the
than the music
composition.
itself. Yeah, exactly. But I think over time things become more standardized, and it's always some people feel very comfortable, working this way.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if it's good, bad. I'm really not at liberty to say anything about it. Also, it's like I think you'd be surprised how many people in the creative field also still benefit from like a form of fixed stuff. It's very. I don't think there are that many creative people in our field. Not that many, to be completely honest.
no,
And
I agree with that. No,
yeah, even now, basically we're all children of the recycling generation. Which started with they just called it neo something, but it's all a reference to past. And it still sounds different, because if you put like a neo soul record next to an old soul, there's a difference. It's just it leans there. You can tell where it comes from.
Yeah.
So if it's good, if it's bad, I think it reintroduced a lot of people to music that they wouldn't be introduced to. Again, it brought a lot of good feelings back to people that were yearning for the music.
Yeah.
Classical, it's maybe the same, but again, to my regret, maybe my classical knowledge isn't as up to date as it should be, so I sometimes find it difficult to talk about it. I know embarrassingly little classical musicians, to be completely honest. Now that I think about it. Yeah.
I think it's funny because if I look at classical composers, I mean, they were pretty much doing what you're doing, and they were doing what in the sense of not to, again, the caliber and this is just marketing things and cultural things developed through hundreds of years that have cemented their names. I'm not doing that comparison, but the comparison that I'm making is that they had, let's say, in my opinion, two lanes: the functional lane of, hey, I need to write this thing because someone pays me to do this, and I need to eat.
Yeah.
I gotta eat. Gotta eat, right? And then there's the artistic thing, the creative, like, let me just try and break these things. Beethoven was a great example of that. Form for him was, harmonically, melodically, all these things, they weren't like groundbreaking, but the form was groundbreaking. Mozart, the melodies were groundbreaking in the sense of the use of the tools that he had, but they weren't thinking like classical composers. They were thinking of contemporary composers.
Yeah, I mean, that's
of
a
their
term
time.
that came later. That much I know.
Yeah.
Again, it's just easy for us, maybe mere mortals, to just make, put a stamp on something, and that becomes it. I think over time, because people, like I say, we need something to hold on to, so we just give it a name. We take this one reference that becomes the reference.
Yeah.
And then, there's a whole industry built around it. You have like, people that, they graduate on this stuff, it's like it was supposed to be like this because at the time he was probably thinking based on the letters that he wrote to his wife or second cousin once removed, he felt like this. That's also a very human trait, I guess. I mean, like half of the knowledge that we acquired is probably based on assumptions in a way. I think very, very, very good assumptions. Again, I find it very tricky to talk about these things because I'm also not too knowledgeable about, actually, the stuff that I read. I also got it from people that I assume did the homework,
Yeah.
and then the important thing is, if you're like into, I would say a hobby of mine is indeed history in a way, so I like it since I was a child and everything. It's also a field where a lot of interesting things are happening with the podcast format. You see people coming up now that are not necessarily historians, or they're like, still in college, but they are successful in
Absolutely.
the whole the way the information is and the nuances they put in to the storytelling.
Absolutely.
It's very interesting. But again, I think it's about, being willing to, over time, revise the knowledge that you have, to accept new sources
Yeah.
of, new insights and those things, and see, okay, let's put it next to each other. Maybe that's a difficult thing to do for a lot of people. I'm not sure, but because you might lose something, you might lose a form of stability or something like that.
A form of attachment to.
Also, don't forget.
Because I really like what you're saying now, because I think that what we're seeing is actually the breaking down of these conventions,
Yes.
of like, okay, everybody told me that this color is red, and then all of a sudden someone comes and says, actually, this is a little bit different here, and someone comes, another opinion, and it starts to transform. The opinion starts to transform, and it creates different reality because of that. And because it creates different reality, the references that we had before that, they become either anachronistic or outdated in that sense, and you look at it in a completely different light. What I'm interested is to know, did it happen already? That kind of cycle.
Oh, probably, yes.
That's what I mean.
Funny.
That's so interesting.
I met this old man, very old man, through, he must be close to 100 right now. But at the time when I met him, he was like 93. He was in education. He had been a teacher for all of his life. Now he's 93, so he's been retired for a long time. And first thing I noticed, because I met him twice, the first thing I noticed about him was Well, he was very vivid for a man of his age, and very much trying to still be involved in the contemporary issues. But he felt disappointed that he wasn't really allowed to because of his age. He was supposed to be like way down there. But also he said something funny, and that really stuck with me. He said, "I'm old enough to remember that we tried this, and it didn't work." So he became frustrated with his stuff, being like seeing maybe every 30 years in his life
a cycle.
They bring something as like innovation, and now he has the age that he goes like, man, I saw this already, and it didn't work back then. And he said it like that.
That's so funny if you think about it. It's like living where instead of us, we would love to see humanity as this linear thing, but it's just a cycle.
Yeah.
It's a cycle, and it's like you have these lanes come and they almost touch each other, but then then it creates a spiral, basically.
And they say collective humanist, collective memory. Sorry, it's about 20, 30 years. Like when I rediscovered the 70s musically, because actually it's a good bridge point where in music we kind of accepted that we're taking stuff from a long time ago and build it into something not necessarily new, but with the current mindset it becomes refreshed in a way, or revisited, right? So we did that with the straight ahead jazz movement. I cannot tell like the difference nowadays between an 80s pop song and a 2025 pop song necessarily.
That's true, actually.
But it's not necessarily bad, because I can't tell the difference, but I feel there's a difference. You can tell that they listen to the stuff because it's far removed enough for like collective memory. Like people that listen to the music back then, they're getting old now. And for kids, it's like somehow fresh. They never heard it before, so it's new. And if they know about it, it's like maybe refreshing. And then there's the people that go like, yeah, but this is old. They are just copying stuff. But if I put Bruno Mars next to like the OJs or something like which they did with it, it's definitely based on the Philly International thing. It's very close, but it's not really the same.
The production value is different.
It's different. Sense. So maybe in music we came to terms with this whole thing that the collective memory is only 20, 30 years old. Maybe in other fields not so much. So I guess it's a good thing in a way. Then does originality really exist? I'm not sure.
I mean, I have a great story about it when it comes to our connection with originality. When I came with my composition Between Hope and Despair, and I was like,
I remember.
Yeah, man, I got this cool groove from somewhere and this, and you were like, oh, this is like basic Cuban stuff.
Yeah, it was a very commonly used riff.
Exactly. And for me, I was like, oh, you just grab it like this, and why? And then you explained to me, and then you told it to Yoran, and then afterwards we played the alto, and you said it like to the bass player. I was just like, wow, okay, so how did this happen? Because I'm not so involved in this music. I don't listen to it on a regular basis. It's not that I heard it. I was like, I dated a Cuban woman for a short period of time, and she just like maybe
that could have been enough, man.
Yeah, she just like put it
enough. You never know. But
it was like it was exactly a copy of that, right?
It was a bit of a and I remember then this instance where I told the bass player, just play this, and he's like, and he played it. And I was like,
all right. It was like, no, it's a 5-7-7. I was like, no, man, it's this, and they don't think of it from an academic point of view,
That's true. I mean, it was sometimes you can also really maybe hurt somebody with that, right? I've
me, you would never hurt me. I love it. I love it.
It's like it's how you deal with it. But sometimes, you have to, you go like, oh, this sounds like this,
Oh yeah,
and then you like but you don't even realize it. But sometimes you're trying to instill, because I mean the other side of it is that people actually think that they invented something new, and they go like, they walk around like like they really reinvented the wheel, and then you tell them that they actually did reinvent the wheel, and then they go like, man, you kind of break their whole identity
Yeah,
to
the whole
pieces.
idea,
You know, and it's I think it's all about building a catalog that you know what happened before. You know, it's not a bad thing to listen to old music. It doesn't make you old-fashioned, and I think there are many people that could benefit from
Yeah.
it. It's not up to me, but you know, if there's people in my surroundings that are willing and open, I'll try to introduce them to styles that were before that I know of.
Hmm.
But you know, on a daily basis, almost, especially now with the internet being a wide open, you find so many things that are
It's insane.
so
It's
interesting and
so
or like,
cool.
oh, this happened before, or I can
Yeah.
really link this to this, or how did this become?
It is. It is. I really believe in that sense of collective consciousness, collective memory. In that sense, that it gets ingrained in us, and
Yeah.
then there are just. I see it with music. I mean, when I was getting into really deep into the whole Gnawa and the Andalusian music. It's like music that is very old in
Yeah.
that sense. That kind of survived the test of time. That was
Proper classical music.
Yeah.
It's like
In that sense, yes. In that sense, especially after we did a project of taking I'm talking really from the 9th century, 8th, 9th century, and then arranging it to, let's say, to like a chamber orchestra in that sense, with the rhythm section. Realizing that it's like, this could have been like, this is kind of like in really old Baroque stuff, but then you realize that there is a human experience behind it that doesn't change. The human thing of melody, rhythm, what brings us together, that kind of combines and that is way stronger than you're coming from this part of the world and he's coming from this part. It doesn't matter because there's a nervous system that is connected to it. There's a reward system. There's there's a reptilian brain. There's the how do you say it? The stum. How do you say it? You know what I mean? Like a prefrontal cortex. Things that develop through thousands, tens of hundreds of thousands of years that brought us to that moment, and we're still being attracted to these lines. They still touch us emotionally. They still do it,
Yeah, well, luckily, yeah.
Yeah, luckily. And then of course you have the extreme stuff that I don't think that they stand in test of time. Again, if I'm offending someone by saying it, sorry, but like this very modern, like abstract stuff that is personally for me, it's hard for me to connect to it. It's hard to, because I don't hear a melody, I don't hear a rhythm, I don't hear something that brings it all together. Because still, I think our bodies respond in a way that is beyond the intellect,
Right.
in that sense. And that's what I also felt. And I want to ask you about that. When you compose, do you also search sources to expand your, let's say, plethora, expand your arsenal in that sense?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's a lot for me still to gain. A lot, because I keep saying it's very fresh to me, sometimes very new. I think there's not a musician in this world, even maybe like a person, because if I look at just people whistling or something, they're composing strictly, they maybe don't know it, but it's like people whistle all the time.
Yeah.
I have neighbors downstairs, they have these melodies that they whistle, it's like, he's a composer, he just doesn't know it. But for me, it's very new, I haven't really followed any course in composing, or it's like I'm teaching as we go, but at the same time, keeping it really grassroots in a way also makes it as honest as I can be.
Do you also look for things? Well, no, that's not my question. What I want to ask, because I asked it. But what is the process? Let's say you hit a wall. Imagine you hit a wall with your composition. What is the process? You leave it.
Yeah, I just leave it because I'm not big on frustration. Not at all. In any type of form, I don't see the benefit of it. I don't see the logic in it. Being frustrated, or like even today before I came here, like some lady was cursing the how do you call these people that work the traffic guides.
Yeah.
You know, they were cursing. It's like, man, what for? You know, you will never meet again. So why?
That's true.
Right? So I'm not big on it. So if I have something and it stops, I just leave it. Also, I have a rule, kind of. If I do come up with a little melody or a beat, if it's still there the next day or a week from, then it's valid.
Yeah.
If I forgot about it,
I'm
it's
the
probably
same,
not. You know,
yeah.
it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I really take the effort to at least write it down or put it on my phone.
It's interesting. It's like an interesting relationship between you and the source in that sense. I don't know if you believe in higher power or all that stuff, or
I
source.
think we all do in a way, you know.
Yeah, we all give it names,
Yeah.
you know. It's like there is so much we don't know and mystery, and you know. But it's I really connect to that of like, if it's there, it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what you said in the movie. You said that it's such a special thing to, you know, there's like something in your head that you've been thinking about, and then it gets materialized into the band.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's
You know?
ridiculous. I mean, I guess for everything, you know, all these things that got materialized, they started in somebody's brain.
Everything you see around you.
Everything you see
Every
around, for the
single
good
thing.
and the bad, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, somebody figured out that if you put these and these two things, you can blow somebody up.
Yeah.
I mean, yo, it's not good.
No.
It's not good, but you know, somebody figured it out
Yeah.
in his head. It's like, you know, very, very, very malfunctioning, you know, but the world is based on it. And then there's the beautiful stuff where people figure out, you know, if I put these things I can actually cure somebody,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
or
Save
if
a life.
Yeah, save a life, you know, and I'd like to be on that side of the spectrum personally. But if I, and then what we do is like, if I, because I think in general it's maybe a bit selfish, because I guess if you make a nice melody or you find this rhythm, you know, let's take the example you had before, you get a certain sense of excitement,
Yeah.
right? Maybe a lot. And then you work it out, and then all of a sudden you say like, but if I do this now, and then there's another door to more excitement, you know, and then that becomes a composition. Then you have to bring it to your colleagues, and then if everything is going well, there's a lot of excitement because they completely understand your happiness in a way.
Yeah.
And then in the best case scenario, they put like they give a spin to it where you even become more enthusiastic and you go like, man, so it's just a lot of self-fulfillment in a way. But now comes the thing that you go outside, you play it, and then the audience becomes excited, you know.
That's
They
why we
start
do what we do,
dancing,
man.
and you know, and it's like little kids, especially, you know, if they walk around and you know, they dance to the thing, and then, you know, it was your happiness at first, but now you shared with a lot of people that you
Yeah.
couldn't even imagine, that you don't even know, that you never met, maybe you will never meet. You make friends because of it. You lose some people as well, maybe sometimes, but you know, it's all, and it started with a little thing.
Yeah. It started here, huh? It
Yeah.
started like with the vision, and it started also, and there was like this. It's almost like an itch.
Yeah.
It has to
And
come
sometimes
out.
you know. Sometimes you know, that's, you know, like all those major hit
Man, I
makers.
have this composition
Yeah,
I'm gonna bring
like,
to the rehearsal when we have.
if I
You're
bring
gonna-
this,
Man,
yeah,
you
all
know,
right,
see,
I'm
it's
looking
this
forward.
like 3 against 5 thing. I just hear you on it, you know.
So we're
It's
gonna
like-
play again next year, right? Coming year.
Yeah, coming year. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're playing a bunch of, and more dates are coming. Yeah, so
Coming
it's
year
like-
is only like 1 month away or something.
Yeah.
So next year, to say next year makes it a little bit more futuristic.
So
Ooh,
next year.
yeah.
No, but I'm saying that it's so beautiful because I'm gonna say something. It sounds a bit like, you know, but we got this gift and a curse of making music. It's a gift and a curse, you know. I'm sure you had moments that you were just like, this thing is,
Yeah.
you know, you know, why am I doing this? But at least for me. But then this thing of being able to share it with people, it's almost like a responsibility for me, you know, like I get something out of me, and then to see people happy, to see people like forget everything for like an hour, you know,
Yeah.
transcend. You know, to be a part of their transcendence. It's like I will not trade it for anything.
No, yeah, exactly. It's like Art Blakey said on live at Birdland. I think it's like, leave your worldly troubles outside.
Yes.
Swing with us. That's what we do. And the curse, I would say, is that we sometimes get chastised for it.
What do you mean by that?
Well, it's such a powerful tool that it's never been fully appreciated.
Especially now with AI and everything, man.
Maybe, yeah.
Losing value of that, or
I mean, my concern with AI is not necessarily. It doesn't apply to my trade specifically. It applies to maybe the fact that people are very, very just people's reaction. It's funny to it. It's because I'm pretty sure that the people that intended on making it weren't really concerned with people's benefits, unless it's like in a medical form or whatever. I think a lot of people that are in it are for profit, right? So that's more my concern. And then you can see that the good nature of being curious is also, it can backfire. And at this point, nobody really knows where we are.
It's wild west, man. So it's wild west, and you have race dynamics also on top of that. So you have these like big companies that are just like headbutting each other.
There you go.
And what they want is they couldn't give a fuck.
So that's the interesting part. That that now it's like, okay, for instance, I know people that they would have never been able to make a song. Now they make a love song to their wife on the birthday. It's like that's a positive
it's
part, it's perfectly fine. And then there's people that say like, okay, it's a tool of creation. And then there is now artificial artists that get €1 million publishing deals. So it's a very human process. At one point it will probably it can go any side. So I don't know if I'm really concerned with AI, but that's also because for me, playing my instrument, I make a living out of it, but it's not going to change my I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing because there's something that is going to possibly overtake me. I don't really care about that because I was perfectly happy playing music or listening to music in my room. The convenience is that I can do it now and make an extra buck, and actually I'm able to provide for so there's a higher calling to it. But at the end of the day, I will still play my instrument. If society doesn't allow me to perform anymore, I will still play my instrument. That's not the issue for me.
That will never happen. I don't think that will ever happen.
You never know.
I mean, I'm taking a big. I'm gambling here. I have no idea, of course.
So for me, that's not a concern. I'm more concerned with like the easiness for like, I don't know. It's also a topic that I haven't.
But what is that? What does it tell me?
It's a topic I actually don't know too much about. So sometimes I find it difficult to talk about it. I think the easiness, again, where we are, our curiosity could potentially backfire on us. That's an interesting case.
In which way do you mean by that? I'm trying to understand.
It could possibly be something that like especially for people that have like a not so knowledgeable occupation. It's like, it's very easy to be, but these are the same people that probably use like a music program to make a song for their loved ones, So
you're talking about like manual labor, for instance, that will
we don't know. So
I mean, it is already happening. I mean, in the sense of
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Automation and stuff like this.
Yeah, which is also a process from the last 100, and it started with the industrial
revolution.
So it's been going on for a long time. We're still here.
It's a natural evolution of that.
That's something other people say. It's like, okay, it's part of the whole thing. We should be surprised by something because at one point, I don't. It's so. To me, it's not what you're saying. Maybe because we were talking about how it takes the value away. Or something. My whole concern with being blessed or being gifted with the talent of music is that because it's a passion thing, people and society is not really based on passion
Yeah. I understand what you
driven
mean.
things.
Yeah.
It's like because else there would have been
The chastisation.
like exactly
thing,
yeah. So it's like you almost get punished for doing could be.
I think a lot of people project their frustration on that.
Could be.
I mean, I experienced myself from family members of like, they they don't understand, or why would I be investing so much time in it and sacrificing other things to do that?
Why not?
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That for someone like I can tell you that with the family of my wife, it's like at the beginning I was the hero of like playing everywhere in this, and then became the villain, of like not coming to family gatherings, not being there, not being so interested in things that happen, because I don't know, just when you do something for so long on this like detailed level.
Yeah, it's a very deep relationship that you have with a thing, and it's very difficult for people to understand because very few of us are actually being put in the position that it's allowed to let it blossom in such a way.
Exactly.
Most of us, unfortunately, even today, I was still talking to some. I think I was stuff. I don't know, but they say like, it's like it's very fortunate that you can work so much every day, with this. And sometimes when you're working a lot, you go like, man, us musicians, we take pride in the fact that we're busy, stuff like this. Man, it's you're fortunate to be busy.
Yeah.
Right. Again, but then for people from the outside, where you have to walk a certain, you are being I lost the word, but you're being advised to walk a certain, because it's easy, it's comfortable, makes you, I don't know, but it's only for very few people that were able to or were put in a position where they can go like, okay, I'm allowed to do this without any negative effects to it. I can fully do this and just work.
It's
exactly.
rare, man.
But you develop a relationship which is hard to understand for people.
Yeah.
And that sometimes you can see it in like, maybe not the rewards that you get from the audience necessarily, but more like, okay, some people, you still have to explain why you do this, like you mentioned before. Again, I'm very lucky that in my surroundings always, because else I would have not, I don't think I would be in the position that I am now. I was just lucky that there was a whole surrounding where I could do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Which is this, And when I talk about my band members, for instance, and the musicians that I know, like I don't know your personal backstory, but as you mentioned before, it's very similar. You have
from
room.
The age of 10.
Exactly. This is what you can do. The people around you and the people around me and the people around my fellow colleagues, they saw this. And instead of going, shouldn't you go for like something more convenient, they went like, go for it. It's very rare,
Yeah.
And
I can tell you, with my family story, it was like I was like, okay, but there's like the whole real estate thing that you need to, and I was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Right.
And even when I was, let's say, punished for it, I was like, I didn't care. I was like, I need to practice.
Okay. Well,
I need to practice no matter what. And again, it's something I was thinking about, because I was talking about with a student. I was talking about like when do you know that this is the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life? I think when it's stronger than the desire to quit,
there you go.
When it's stronger than that, when it's really, it's such a, like you said, with the melody, for instance, a great, are you being called? Or
I'm not sure if it's my phone. Wow.
No.
All right. Let me just double check.
Yeah, sure.
No, it's not me because mine is on silent.
Ah, mine is also on silent. I'm not hearing anything. But
leave it in.
Anyway.
Okay,
no, we
cool.
do everything. So like you said with the melody, it's like you have a melody, you think about it, and then if it stays with you for the coming week, It's there.
It's there. Yeah.
If the thing you think about is, I want to practice, I want to explore more of that interest of that instrument, I'm willing to not party, I'm willing to move to a different country, I'm willing to be a part of communities, I'm willing to this, then yeah, this is what you're supposed to do, because then it's stronger than all this like outside voices telling you to conform to something, you know. And I'm not coming from, there was music in the house, but I'm not coming from a family of musicians. So it's not, so it was like this thing of understanding clearly that this is what I want to do. Because of the experience that I got as a kid, you know? I mean, I saw in the film also, like you were, how old were you? Like you were really, really smart. I think 3 or something, right? 2 or 3. You were like playing with this thing, very cute. Yeah, in the videos,
I'm not sure. You have to ask my mom, to be completely honest. But we were always like, I do come from a family of people in the arts, and there's just music in the house always. Yeah. So you gravitate towards it. And
but what she was telling also, this thing of like you looking at the at the films and imitating videos and imitating them, and then even playing left because
it was easier.
It was mirrored.
Yes, it was mirrored, and optically it looked like, in my imagination, if it looked more like a drum set. That's
so it was the hi-hats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like, yeah.
No, but
I benefited from it, definitely.
But yeah, that's the thing, that it's like you were kind of like, I think also if your parents, or like if your family wasn't even artistic, maybe you would still be you would still be groomed into that thing, you know?
Could be, yeah.
You know, because it's look, we have kids, you know. I don't push my kids to do anything. I don't.
No, pushing is never really
bad. I just told actually a student yesterday that it's done, you know, because the father was just like, I mean, hey, the kid really suffers from this. And it was this like projection of the dad that he never got.
This is not the way.
It's so common,
and it's of course what we see. You also, I mean, there's also people that had to go through that, and they're in music today, or maybe other occupations. Your father's a lawyer, you become a lawyer, and if you like it or not, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
it's the culture of the family.
Yeah, exactly, and it's very.
I would say it's
more common, to go like, okay, you go into your parents' footsteps or something.
Yeah.
Like family business is very highly appreciated part of society. It's
Absolutely.
But again, it has to do with sharing the positive side of the passion, and seeing. That's something that I must say that comes from like my colleagues in the band. They were all brought up this way.
Yeah.
So
I know for sure about Itai, I don't know
exactly.
the other ones,
so very similar, everybody. So and even if the parents weren't musicians necessarily, they had like an extremely big passion for music.
Dude, it's weird, man. Come on, it's weird. You sit the whole day in a small room. Come on, it's fucking weird. If you think about it, like in the grand scheme of, I'm saying like, you were growing in this culture. My dad sometimes would come to me like, I remember.
What are you doing?
I remember like practicing block chords. I was like 16 or something, and he was just like, "Man, you've just been doing it for 2 hours," and I was like, "Yeah, I have another 2 hours in front of me," But he didn't get it,
grasp the whole.
So it's like people, like, there is a basic thing. I think I'm generalizing, of course, but there's a basic thing about. We don't practice to get somewhere. We practice because we like to practice.
Yeah, definitely.
Because, I mean, the byproduct is that you become more proficient on your instrument. You can express yourself and becomes more refined throughout the years. But it's not that you reach a goal and then you don't practice anymore.
Which is basically what, it was always very hard for me to explain people that weren't in music or what studying means.
Yeah. Exactly, that's what I mean. Yeah. It's like, wait, but you studied already,
you studied, right? So it's like 4 years and then you're done.
No.
And there's more to that.
No, it's like conservatory just kind of like
Narrows it down.
encapsulates,
Exactly.
brings the people together. You're with similar-minded people, but this is just a drop in the ocean of the amount of work and studying that will come afterwards.
Yeah, but the notion of studying is like you go to school for a minimum of 4 years, in this country, and then if you want to improve yourself, you continue. Like, so there's 6 years, maybe.
Yeah,
more.
exactly.
But then
PhD,
it's done.
maybe.
Then it's done.
Yeah.
But sometimes the easiest way for me to kind of make people relate to it is go like, yeah, but every now and then you have to do like a reschooling program, right? When there's innovation in your occupation, you have to go to a course, and then you have to follow the course, the training for 3 days.
Absolutely.
So we do that on a daily basis, and then they kind of relate. So there's always something that it makes it relatable.
No.
It's just people from the outside, very, for lack of better word,
The moguls. No, I'm kidding.
just to make it worse. Mere mortals. They
no, moguls like Harry,
mogul. Yeah,
like
yeah,
Harry Potter.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Harry Potter. That's what
I mean, same thing. They don't know about it, but
yeah.
if you would explain it, it makes a lot of sense, and then they understand. But it's so not in the daily. I mean, musicians were, of course, much more part of daily society before. Because on television you would see an orchestra.
Absolutely.
With the Eurosong festivals, instead of seeing different lights and 10,000 LED screens, you would see an orchestra with a conductor.
Yep.
That is, of course, gone. So the whole notion of what it could mean to be a musician doesn't really exist anymore, especially not here. If you go to different places, there's much more. If you look at countries where art is much more part of the national identity, or it's much more appreciated by government, because it's also part of not only the history, like great composers or whatever. You can see it's much more part of daily life.
The support is different,
and accessibility. Still, I'm not sure if everybody goes to it, but I think opera ticket here is like a week's wage, so to speak.
I think it's 100 and something.
Yeah, it's expensive.
It's still subsidized. Like if it wasn't subsidized,
if it wasn't subsidized, forget about it.
It will be like $2.5 grand.
Some countries it's affordable, affordable as
Man,
groceries.
I was in Hungary and I was like, what?
There you go. You know what I mean?
Crazy. I was like paying. I think we went to see an opera for like $12 or something.
There you go.
I was like, how? Where? Like a million people on stage. Crazy decor, crazy. This is resources.
So you don't know, but again, in our society, it's almost gone.
Yeah.
Like me, and I'm old enough to remember like the tail end of all the major networks having, at least in 1 or 2 shows, a house band, and it went from an orchestra to an ensemble to maybe a piano player.
Yeah. And now just a DJ or someone with just like pioneers.
Of course, I was fortunate to be part of a little revival where there was a big band and people loved it. That's why I stayed on for a little bit, because I could see that there was a.
Which show was it?
It was like it was a TV program called Matthijs Gaat Door.
Yeah, Matthijs Gaat Door, yeah.
With a lot of music and stuff like that. I just saw that it did a lot of good for music in society again. So I was from that perspective, I was very happy to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Because I could see people in the neighborhood. It's like, hey, nice. I loved it. I missed it. Music back on, not just for a minute, but the whole song. Why not?
It's a financial thing, man. I mean, it comes down to financial.
If you want to put, this country is rich enough to put resources on whatever you want to do.
But what I mean with that, with the financial thing, it's okay. You know what? It's a logistical thing.
Maybe
let's say like this, because when you take one person, we talked about it a couple of times. Also, we had Dave Clark here in the podcast. He's like, he was talking about the whole thing, what happens with electronic music, but it's really this thing of
what's happening there. I don't know.
Yeah, think about it like this. It's you have one person that comes and just plays, and they can play for a very long time. So logistically, it's attractive to the festival. You don't need to pay insurances for a lot of people. They're actually getting paid if you just aggregate the entire production of an orchestra, and it's almost the same money that you give to one DJ, you know, but you need one hotel room, one flight, one USB stick. You don't need a sound check. They just come, they just do it, and they sell a massive amount of tickets. I'm not going into this whole like money laundering, the drugs, the festivals. You have in the Netherlands, you have 1,250 festivals a year that are being constantly pushed. So that's 4 a day, more or less 4 a day, and of course it comes in, in different periods.
No, I get it.
But like logistically for them, it's more attractive for that. It's kind of like, should I take this or should I take that? And then for people that are just thinking from a business standpoint or from a logistical standpoint, they will go more towards like simplifying.
That's what happens everywhere.
Yeah.
But the next question is, and again, I'm also not really like a for and against type of person. I think in advanced society, these things should live next to each other.
Absolutely.
And costs shouldn't be a thing in a country that is so, or a place that has so much
affluent,
wealth.
Yes, so affluent,
as where we are living right now. Undisclosed location, but but I so that's what I believe in. If you have an advanced society, everything should be able to blossom.
Yeah,
and it shouldn't be about costs or like not being completely idealistic. Everybody knows there's a limit to anything, but everything in its fair sense should be no problem to coexist.
Yeah.
Right.
So why do you think it happens actually?
Because we still we still do the numbers game every time. Because at the end of the day, we like to make we all want to make. We're a profit-based society, which is fine.
Expansion.
It's no problem for me. Again, I think we all like to pay, rewarded fairly, compensated fairly in what we do. So I'm totally not against that. But again, I think it shouldn't be one or the other. And to be completely honest, if I see what's happening now, I do believe things are coexisting. And if I look at audiences, they don't prefer one over the other. Some people do, but they're already a little bit more like, okay, I buy my groceries here. I go to this festival once a year because it gives me my happiness. So that's like, again, more like but I see a lot of things coexisting right now. People enjoy a jazz festival or jazz club as another festival.
Yeah.
I myself, to be honest, I never really went to a lot of electronic music festivals, but I can appreciate electronic music. I like with music, I would be a little bit more on the creative, progressive side of the thing instead of like the commercial thing. So I wouldn't be like, what's the big fest? I don't even know my name. I would rather be like, I'm more like the whole
Tomorrowland and all that stuff.
Tomorrowland, I wouldn't but I'm not a big mass guy.
Yeah,
that's not my thing. Like, so I like the creative side of things.
The exploration.
The exploration part,
research,
so if I see a dude with cables and stuff like that, that gets me going. I can enjoy that. If I see like, I'm not if I would be standing in a mass, it's been a long time since I've done it really, but I like sports, so I like being part of like but even now I go like, I just watch the game somewhere. But I do take.
I think it comes with age also. It's like I do think it's like at some point you're like, man, it's a lot of people around me. It's like dirty.
Maybe. Yeah, I liked it in some cases, but yeah. Again, I believe in coexisting, and I understand that like from a logistics or financial standpoint, it makes perfect sense. I guess if I would be a festival director or something, and I would look at the numbers, I would go like, I've hosted my own events, and I looked at the numbers, and I go like,
I'm at a loss.
Yeah, it doesn't even make sense anymore. Yeah. So I go like, it doesn't make sense anymore. Let's do it anyway. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But
that's where enriching your soul is very important. It's very important because it's like I do believe I'm altruistic in that sense of I do believe that people really want to feel good, like they do want to feel good, and that's a very that's the contract they make with themselves when it comes to like taking care of themselves. And it's not enough to just be materialistically affluent. You need to also be spiritually. You need to be
Yep.
in your soul level also, and that's money can't, or let's say the checks and balances of an Excel sheet is not going to do that. It's going to give you a positive feedback of serotonin and dopamine, like,
I
oh, I'm
guess so.
doing good.
For sure. I mean,
But it's short-lived, in my opinion. You know. So that's why, I also ask myself sometimes, it makes no sense to produce this album now, but it's like I have to produce this
Yeah.
album. I have to, because
Yeah.
if I don't bring this music out, and if I made one person happy,
it's enough.
I'm so happy about this.
It's enough.
It's actually weird for me. Like how do you deal with that? Like sometimes when people come, like, wow, like I'm such a big fan. I'm like, I get so weirded out by this.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
you never really expect it to happen to you. Maybe you
I
think
get
that's
so
something
weirded
for
out.
like celebrities.
Yeah.
But the fact that somebody is willing to come up to you, because I think it's one of the hardest things to do, to come up to somebody and go like, man, to share your emotions with somebody that you maybe do not know. That's the biggest reward you can receive as a musician, artist. It's like that somebody comes up to you and just gives you any form of compliment. It's hard to take, because
For
what
me,
are you
it's-
going
it's
to say?
really hard,
Thank
man.
you.
Yeah.
You say thank you. Somebody gives you something, you say thank you. But somebody pours their emotions and they go like thank you. It may, you just completely almost ruin the beauty of the
Yeah.
thank you. That is not sufficient. But you usually end up saying thank you or thank you very much. But just the whole, I probably ask any musicians. They have gotten beautiful comments to
Yeah.
any performance. Sometimes you didn't even expect it to be like that, and then somebody comes up, and just that somebody is willing to come up to you, because that's really hard to do. It's not easy, and just share, is willing to share their feelings with you. It's a heavy thing, man, but it's the biggest reward.
Yeah.
So I deal with it as gracious as I can. Sometimes I'm, of course, flabbergasted, and thank you is the best thing I can say. But again, to give a compliment, that's like the most social thing you can do, I guess, and it's so difficult, really.
I can tell you, like, if someone is listening to it, like, and you see us on stage and you feel like, listen, we're not bigger than anything. First of all, that's like never. Second of all, we really appreciate it. I like appreciate it in the sense of, well, no, let me say it like this. It's okay, you can do it. You know what I mean? Just like you said, it's a big thing. It takes a
big
lot of
thing.
courage to just be like, because there is this projection, the psychological thing of like you saw someone, it's like maybe even you followed them for a while. I just discovered I had a stalker.
Ooh, that's a whole
That's a whole different thing.
thing.
She comes like with different, she's like dressed in costumes and stuff. And I was just like,
That's different. That's like
this
you
is-
just went from this to this. We
yeah.
I know it's close, but you want to talk about it?
Man, I discovered it in such a like completely random thing. I was like in some gathering, some people came, it was a party. Someone asked me like my name, and I said Avishai. I said, Avishai Dash the Penis. I was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, maybe saw a gig or something. And they said, I have to tell you the story. I was illustrating a woman, and we went to her apartment, and she started showing me like the music that she likes, and she said that she's obsessed with you, and she comes to every single show that you're giving, every single like public thing, and she's dressed in like different like costumes and stuff. And I was like, and then he asked me, are you single? I was like, dude, even if I was single, this is not a way to
Yeah.
can you imagine?
Yeah, I mean, that's
You wake up, it's like you don't answer her, she puts your cat in a microwave or something. It's like a completely psycho.
while playing your record.
Dee-da-da-da. She's like,
Put that into perspective.
oh my
there you go.
god, yo, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
I mean, I've seen people at our concerts all the time, and these are some, to be honest, people that attend our concerts with the band often. There's also people that were like part of our development, and people that knew us from very young,
So cool.
not even in like a musical sense. And I mean, just the fact that people are willing to come out and just enjoy what you're doing, it's already enough. So it's again, I would hate it to lose the grassroots level of what we're doing, even if we're, hopefully we're progressing, because it is about progression in a way. It's part of development. We hope to play different venues, bigger venues, but the people that came from the beginning always, and they still come whenever they can. They take time out of their own busy schedules or whatever because they feel comfortable watching your performance. And it's like I would never want to lose that element.
So beautiful. Huh?
Yeah, it's wonderful. Like, yeah, I mean, it's very, very, it's very grateful to see that, So we also like to keep our concerts a little bit like informal in that sense, that people do actually feel that they're part of like a gathering, so to speak. I like that very much. We usually, it's not unprofessional, it's just informal. So we just talk a little bit on stage, we have conversations with the audience. We just did a whole bunch of concerts for kids, both family concerts.
The Groove Beast.
Groove Beast. Yeah, it's an initiative by the Bimhuis, and we just did one Tuesday.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. In
just afgelopen.
Last Tuesday,
okay.
yeah. And then we did Bimhuis in October. So they do both for schools and family concerts.
Cool.
It's so much fun, man, with the, the kids
so
coming.
Good. That's so good.
And they enjoyed it, man. They were doing like parades all over the room. It was a lot of fun. So you just to have them experience that level, because they don't get introduced to music. Again, it's not in their daily life that much, even now then music education, it becomes a little bit of a wealth thing if you can afford
Dude,
it.
it's expensive, man.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't have to be, I think.
I mean, I know how much I charge per hour. You gotta have money to, and it's like, you need to put thousands in it to just see like a thing, and it's not. And then you have this like imbalance of why don't you just get an app and this, and I'm really against these things.
I'm trying to be very lenient with it. So of course, yes, there is the fact that you put the hours in and you have to be properly rewarded for it. But then, especially when it comes to the education part, and especially the education of the young and talented, or the just young people, it's about. I can be very lenient towards that. There's no necessity to go like payment should be done in 2 weeks or tomorrow or whatever. Because you're trying to help. You're being part of the development.
Does it come from your own development in that sense? Like, because I saw a really beautiful relationship between you and Eddy.
Yeah. Well, again, I was very fortunate in that sense that you encountered these people. Again, that in my case, definitely Eddy, more than anybody. There was also Ponda O'Bryan. There was also Pablo Nahar. But I took lessons with Eddy. And these were more than lessons, because in general, and it wasn't just me, right? Because at the time, there were many pretty talented kids playing drums, some a bit older than I am, but they were all quite talented. It was also like the heyday of drumming with the videos and the technically gifted drummers, and fusion was like just at the peak before it all went down in a way. So
was it like the Dave Weckl?
Dave Weckl, Dennis J. We were all heavily into Dennis, Vinny, Dave, and those people. So that was what you would do with. We were all trying to figure that stuff out. Then of course Steve Gadd, all those people, but they were very prevalent. They were on the posters and everything, and it had some kind of. And he was just providing the space for us. He would let us play after closing hours. After the lesson, we would just all hang together and play, and he would facilitate that. Again, facilitate a room where people can develop, and just sometimes mentioning one or two things is enough, or sharing your experience, because Eddy at the time, especially, he still is, of course, but at the time he was a working musician, right? So he would teach me on Saturday morning, probably having played Friday a little late in the evening, and he probably had a gig after teaching, which is also very important, right? Because he would share those experiences. He already had like a lot of experience that he could share, so he could really instill believe in me that I could possibly really, 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 really become a musician, right? again, so the facilitating of this environment where you feel completely free to do whatever, where nobody will tell you it's necessarily wrong. This doesn't work like that. Because sometimes, very few occasions he was like sick or something, there would be a substitute teacher. It was not the same.
Well, of course not.
Not the same at all.
It's not about the information.
Exactly.
It's
and that's
not.
what a lot of people don't understand. It's not about the information.
A lot of people want the teaching, they don't want the teacher.
Exactly.
That's a very yogic, deep yogic concept, man. Master to student, student becomes master to student, student becomes master to student.
That's a cycle. I mean, I don't really think it exists in the society here. Maybe, I think we yearn for it, crave for it. That's why we have all the modern concepts and 10 ways to unlock your best potential type of books. But it does exist in some cultures. And I was fortunate enough. Again, I think the culture that I'm from really has this. So again, then for instance,
I think also your Jewish roots connected to it. Also, it's
probably also there
because your grandmother is
yes,
Jewish, Dutch Jewish. It's really connected to learning obsessively, constantly learning obsessively.
We're a bunch of everything. I found. I recently went to the council, and I know my family came from a circus family of. In Blanes, Spain. So there was Jewish, there was gypsies, there was everything. But we were part of the community in a way. Not really like, but I mean, the history with Amsterdam is so big, of course.
Yeah,
we were part of that. But and learning is again. So that aspect. If you say, I believe you, man. It's a big thing. So this whole relationship part, very important.
Yeah.
Very important. And it should be instilled much more, I guess. Also then, I always refer to Ponda as well because his approach was a little different. But at the same time, again, you're there with like 5, 6 children, guys, all kind of the same age within we were almost like a generation age-wise. So from the youngest being 4 at the time to the oldest being 15 at the time, growing up together. A different form of discipline, not more or less, different. So both were perfectly they complemented each other. That's the word. Very important. So I would be involved very, 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 very intense, but also very, very childlike.
Yeah.
And that's what we still have. So for me...
So you start from 4 there?
No, the youngest at the time. So there was Ponda's youngest son, he was 4, and my brother then was 6. I was like in the middle. I was like, when we started there as a group, so playing as a group, I was like 9, and then the oldest were like 15. So Fanti was also in my band. I think he was one of the oldest.
Fanti was also in the group.
Yeah, because that's Ponda's son.
Okay.
And then
cool.
and we were all brothers. And there was Greenfield, like the guy that plays saxophone in alto.
Greenfield.
He's a saxophone player.
Okay.
His nephew. So there's the brothers. And one is more like on the artist side, so he builds his instruments, and his sons were also in our group.
Wow,
and,
what a lineage!
Yeah,
man.
one of these guys. He's now he was in this band called Jungle
by Night.
Jungle by Night. Yeah, he was in that band. He was like a founding member,
okay.
and his brother is also doing a lot of like training things, through the instrument. And we're all still very much involved. If we see each other, it's very. We're like brothers in a way because, we were all brothers. We're like 2 sets of brothers, but because we shared the same upbringing. Again, it was like our teenage years. So very formative, very important, the thing that you remember most. Again, we were facilitated. Not by, here's it like left to our own devices, but no. There was this elderly person with a lot of knowledge in both cases. And of course they knew each other because they were like lifelong colleagues. So that's another thing. So there's this network taking care of like the next generation, so to speak.
It's a community, man.
It's a community, exactly.
Such a strong sense of community.
Doesn't exist. Of course, one person that was also known for doing this more on the jazz side was Peter Giddy. Like the late Peter Giddy. He did the same, and you can see that those people are also still playing together. Guidon.
Yeah. Exactly.
A lot of like Gideon comes to mind the most because I'm still really in touch with him. Very interesting character also. He's doing really well, but he was like a product of that thing.
Van
where the-
Nunes?
the trumpet player.
Yeah.
And he was mentored by Peter Guidi and a whole bunch of kids that are still in the jazz field today. Different, I think, a bit different from the way we were brought up, but we all play together now, And we were talking about it, me and Timothy and Gideon. We were on a gig like 2 summers ago, maybe 2 all together, and we were reminiscing because we had time to, reminisce. And then it turned out that we were all at the time already like aware of each other. So I would say my generation of musicians is one of the few where you can tell that's like it's literally a generation that made it into the field.
Yeah.
And I think it's our responsibility in a sense to do that as well. And if I'm looking at, Timothy, for instance, is taking care of that a lot, like being the session leader at the Kring, seeing all the young people come in, giving them a shot, also giving them like a lecture or like a very like a arm on over the shoulder,
on
like
armor,
that. So, exactly. So he's doing that as well. But again, he comes from the same lineage because there's this bass player Pablo Nahar, the drummer Clarence Beckton, who was they took care of him in a mentoring way.
Do you? I mean, it's if you don't want to reveal it, I understand that also. But do you see that in the conservatory? Or do you see it?
It's different.
It's different.
Yeah, it's different because the conservatory, first of all, it's an institute. They also have to adhere to some guidelines because they're part of like they're more ingrained into like the national system of education. So they again, there's guidelines, but if you look at individual teachers, this definitely happens.
Yeah.
So there's the institute as in the institute, and there's the teachers that are doing the groundwork. I would say now more than ever, it's more balanced. I can say that because of course we were studying at the same time. I think we were in almost like this transitional period where like a lot of older teachers were already going towards retirement, and younger teachers. So there was a shift, and of course with every new person coming in, there's a shift because if you bring the young people in, they bring the young, the contemporary spirit.
Absolutely.
So that changes a lot. I wouldn't say, again, this is a place, and it actually goes for everybody. It goes for everything because, of course, I was facilitated. Not everybody in not all those drummers that I referred to earlier made it as a professional drummer. Not that they didn't want to or they couldn't. They just, some things happened differently.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Life
exactly.
came in between. Yeah.
So again, the conservatory, some people make it, some people don't make it, some people like it, some people don't like it. I think some people, it has been like a very both beneficial or on the other hand devastating part of their development. It's very personal, I think. For me, the conservatory was a place where I was able to devote 4 years, because I just did the bachelor, of my life to the same thing that I was doing already. And I just, of course, I had to adjust in the sense that the teaching that I was used to was not necessarily happening over there. It was different. Some classes were very classical, some very... it's only now that I sometimes meet my old teachers, not just as colleagues, and they were and I see now that they were also doing a lot for us, because I came, like Nathan, bass player, Anand, all people that we were together. You were like Yishai.
Yeah, Yishai.
You were in the class
in
with Yishai, guy, like those people. But especially for me, it's like it was Nathan, Anand, Mark Mangin, the saxophone player.
Yeah.
We had a little group together. I wouldn't say we weren't like exemplary students. Also, we weren't necessarily misfits. We were just I dare to say now like extremely talented musicians. And even though we didn't get like the teachers that saw what we could do still helped us in their way, within the limits of what the institution is allowed to do and the freedom that they have. And I think it was also like teachers as Lucas from Herwijk, like who eventually recommended me to come and teach there. All the teachers in general, like from the drum department, were always very helpful. Marcel, Joost, Joost Leibart,
Yeah.
who helped me. He was in my audition at the juniors. Now we're teaching the juniors together. So he's been doing 15 plus years of educating young drummers and helping them to become professionals.
Yeah.
Then I think Joost studied with Marcel and Gerard and Lucas. So it is in a way it's like an evolving thing. I was very fortunate to still.
How long are you teaching there already?
It's
when did you
7
start?
years now.
7 years.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow.
7 years.
Okay, it's a period already.
It's a period already. Yeah. I was very lucky to have studied classic the snare drum thing with a very great teacher, Victor Oskam. Unfortunately no longer with us, but he was a very big influence to a lot of like us drummers. The coincidence was that he knew Ponda, for instance. They knew each other well. He knew Eddy, so he knew where I was coming from. So he was almost like the bridge between the conservatory way of doing things, and he knew how I was used to being. He mentioned it a few times, sometimes even. So for me, his lessons were like very much homecoming type of thing, where he was like, okay, I can see you can do this, and then he to open up like, try this and try that, listen to this and maybe see how you can do it with. So that was very inspiring. Then there were other teachers that had other approaches, but the conservatory, like the name, the conservatory, it's almost like, you think about this big bastion and there's walls and, there's a guard instead of, now there is actually, if you walk in, you have to go and there's a port and you have to have a pass and stuff like that. So it's a little bit more like that, yes. But I think
back
for a lot
then
of...
it was open. Like,
it was, everybody just walked in.
And you remember with the practice rooms.
Forget about it, But
it was such a wild west, man.
I think for a lot of people, it's also like, it almost sounds like a fort. And I think in previous periods, they weren't really able to bridge the gap. And now they're trying really, really hard.
But bridge the gap between like completely open and forts?
No, to make sure, to show the people that it is accessible.
Okay, yeah.
That it is a place where you can, where it's for everybody, where it's, you don't have to be... I thought when I was going to the conservatory, I was going to sit next to like the next Tony Williams and not just one guy, but like 20 guys playing like... it wasn't like that necessarily.
No.
There's also people that come from nothing, but they develop as well. Even today, we have students that make such a progression over 4 years, which is sometimes a bigger progression if you look at it than like the super talented kid that maybe progresses less, but already has so much talent that it's just about the cultivation. Right? It's two different things.
Yeah.
I'm just happy to be there, even though I really didn't expect it in the beginning. But now I'm there.
As a teacher or as a student?
As a teacher.
As a teacher.
Yeah, as a student, I everybody told me, it's like, go to the conservatory. I didn't know there were like 12. They just said the conservatory, And I heard crazy stories like, when you go to the drum cabins, they practice, they can read their notes upside down and
all these urban legends.
Yeah, urban legends. It was full of urban. So the first time I walked in, I was shit scared to be in the place. The old building, you have the stairs going up, like you can hear the
Hogwarts,
choir.
you mean Hogwarts.
Yeah, exactly, it's like, and then,
Hogwarts,
exactly, Dumbledore walks.
Yeah, exactly.
It was like that for me. But eventually it wasn't. And it's very, if you find your way, your rhythm, it's a nice place. I can see the kids, the younger students. It's also a big place where they develop, because remember, most of them, I don't think they ever left the house before.
It's young kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kids.
Yeah, exactly. And even if they're 22.
I remember doing the accompanying,
Yeah.
It was like grinding. I remember that doing Davi de Maris would just be like, hey, can you do like all of them? And I was like, yeah, sure, I will do it. And you really see, you come in contact with kids that come from like a tiny village, never were in the big city, and they come and it's like they get overwhelmed and flabbergasted. And it's a thing, it's
so
a thing.
you can also I don't think you're supposed to really, really help them, but you can, from a very correct distance, like you can, help them by focusing on their instrument to gain a focus in daily life.
Yeah.
But I can see it's a big social factor as well. They make friendship that might last for life. We met there.
We met there,
right?
Yeah. I mean, that's a very important thing to realize. Relationships.
Yeah.
Relationships in the creative sector, creative business. It gets built and falls on it. Basically, a career.
Definitely.
If there are no healthy relationships, you're gonna be isolated.
In a way, yeah. I mean, it was never really my strong point to forge relationships. I still believe in a way that playing is the best way to introduce. It's your best way. That's why I did always attend the sessions. Right, I think that's the easiest way to make a connection as a musician, especially if you're maybe socially not the strongest, which also is very common, right?
Well, you sit in a practice room for 10 hours a day.
There you go.
Kind of weird.
Exactly, and then all of a sudden you're supposed to be able to communicate.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. Well, the sessions are the best way. That's why I still enjoy playing at the Kring or to see and see the young kids. We have a few talented young students, under 18 still.
Wow.
And they attend and they're curious. I can see that the ones that really make it, it's also the parents are very involved.
Very important.
Very, very involved. Yeah. They come along, they bring their kids and stuff like that. They stay around. It's they usually in the holidays, but they also bring them to the concerts and everything. And I really applaud that, because that's very important. Because you give your child, the children, I wanted to say, but a sense of legitimacy. It's we completely support what you're doing. 100%. Very, very, very important.
Yes, so important. That's what I saw also with your kids. I mean, that's from the other way of seeing a professional. Like, they come to your... I remember when we played in... I met your kid for the first time. What's his name? Javed, yeah.
It was probably Sinatol.
Yeah, exactly. He came, and it's like you just see, that's the culture of his dad.
Yeah.
That's the culture, and he comes and he helps you a bit with the cymbals.
Exactly, yeah.
He does it, and you said it. I'm away so often. It's good for them to understand why,
Yeah.
So it's not, they're not just like, Dad is doing this thing somewhere.
No, it's not. It's not supposed to be like that.
No.
It's always, and then when I bring them, it's usually on times that it's really when it's available. So usually Sunday mornings, or like when they have a night off or something like that, or a day off, like a school day off, I bring them, and they like it, and the kids like it. It's we had classmates. For both my son Javed and Yiris, my daughter, they had classmates coming to the concerts.
Nice.
Concert we did.
The Groove Beast.
Yeah, and they didn't know it. They just it was funny. It's like seeing little kids act like adults. Hey, what are you doing here? Stuff like that.
So cute.
It's super. And then
it's so cute.
They hang out. I knew
so
one friend of my son was coming, and they enjoyed it. It's very important because again, we're not in the daily social structure. We're considered outside of the thing. Sometimes it's good. I don't want to be part of the mainstream necessarily, but still, you don't know if your kids feel the same way. You don't really, they don't have to live your life necessarily, So it's very cool for them to, they can say, it goes for you too, as my dad does this, and my parents do this. Let's put it that way, you know. And I can be proud of it, but not just that. It's like my friends also, that's why now it matters much more to me when I do a television thing or so, because then they see it.
Exactly.
And not just...
Were they happy and proud to see you on the NTR?
I think so. I mean, they were also a little bit involved, so they were also dealing with the same awkwardness. Oh man, I'm on screen. I think my daughter really loved it, man. She went for it. But my son is a little bit more reserved. Sorry, but they both liked it. But I think it's important that people then see it in their surroundings, so they don't have to explain what does your dad do. It's like my dad is a musician. That's what it is. Can you live off it? It's not a question anymore.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well,
you don't have to.
This film is also very legitimizing what it's like. you become a part of mainstream culture in that sense, you know.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, like, again, big respect
It's
for.
not it's not mainstream.
No,
and,
I get it, but I'm still surprised that it even happened. But what really made it
from the guy
John
Apple.
Apple,
Yeah,
he did a great job.
yeah, it's a fantastic film. Everybody go
yeah.
watch it. We're gonna put it in the
Oh
description.
yeah,
also.
that's wonderful. I'm just grateful that it happened. It's not necessarily.
It was a long trajectory, right? Because I saw him also with you in Senegal. And
Yeah,
then
it took like a year or something.
a year. Okay.
But it wasn't like a full year. It was maybe like a few days within
Yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
You know, still, you never know what comes out. I'm happy. I'm actually more happy for my surroundings and family that, you know, it's a reward for. No, it's almost like a, how do you call this, affirmation.
Yeah.
That, you know, as a parent, you put in the work. You hope that it works out, and then it works out, and then you're also being, you know, because I think my mom and my grandmother and stuff like that, I think they were approached more on the streets than I was. And I think that's, for me, the biggest reward, that, you know, especially for them, that they put in all the hours. You know, my grandfather was like our biggest fan and stuff. He's unfortunately no longer with us. But
is it recent that he passed?
No, like 5 years ago or
okay.
something like that. But also, you know, like, so you can see, like, from you know, my uncle was there at the movie screening. You know, he was proud. You know, and then that's very important. You know, because they all supported you in one way or another, or you know, they supported your mother doing this, or you know, maybe you know, they were always like, yeah, she's doing it, but you know, and then you know, my mom driving around with the drums, carrying the drums. We couldn't carry the drums when we were kids, you know, and they were looking funny at us. It's like, yeah, shit like that. But you know, then this is a great.
Yeah,
almost
it's a culmination
like exactly.
The culmination of
so,
all that work of
exactly.
years of sacrifice.
And I think that's
that's for your soul. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Even if you know, let's say, I assume you weren't like, hey, I want money for it or something like this. You know, for making something like this, it's like, it's an affirmation of. I mean, I don't know.
Eventually, yeah, it's an. I mean, it's public networks. I don't know how that works, but
no. But what I mean with that is that
I get what you say.
Yeah, what you gain from it is so much more on the spiritual soul level. Like
again, yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Of course, in this case, you are less. You're very dependent, you know, because again. It's about me. Yeah. It's not by me.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a story that John wants to tell.
This is weird from the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay? You really have to, like, I'm not accustomed to that.
Yeah.
Because why? You know? Why?
Did you have imposter syndrome because of that?
I think I really do believe that we all deal with that in one way or another. It wasn't so much imposter syndrome. I do think that it should be a catalyst for more people to get things like this, because I think a lot of musicians, people that have devoted their life to one form or another, that is not necessarily commercially viable, have a story, right? And I think again, coming back to this whole how I believe this society should be built, I think there should be room for it. There was room for it because I used to watch documentaries about musicians on television.
Man, what a nice closure, huh?
Yeah.
Like to have that, not closure, but nice like ending of a circle in that sense. Like
of
growing
course.
up watching this movies, like being, oh my God, you know, being inspired by this. And you are responsible for the inspiration of others right
well,
now. You know?
Let's see.
You are, man, come on.
But like the same, you know, the same program that I used to watch, now there's a thing about me. So it's definitely a form of, extreme gratitude. That's where that's for me, that's the extreme gratitude. But at the same time, I do believe that there are more stories out there that definitely deserve being told, and not necessarily by, you know, own initiative, also by, like, you know, public network, you know, that have funding, that have, you know, like a budget, you know, or even commercial, you know, tell the story. Also be, you know, about people that are less visible, you know, because they have this, they put in the same amount of, everybody of us that got here at one point put the same amount of hours in. You know, a story might be a little different, but that's also interesting. So that was something that I'm still hoping for, that will happen. That there will be similar things
Yeah.
like this,
Yeah.
just to give people a better insight. That would have been nice, and that will probably. So I don't necessarily have imposter syndrome. It's not. It's extremely awkward to experience it. This whole process.
Mm.
But I'm
Awkward in the sense of like seeing yourself on screen.
Yes, the first time I saw it was I had to I saw it. It was extremely difficult for me to watch it, so I had to go again with other people
Mm.
with a more neutral, because everything I felt was like dumb and stupid, and so definitely like some form of imposter syndrome.
It was
maybe.
very, very
Yeah.
honest, man. It
But,
was very touching, emotional,
That's well. Thank you for that. So that I'm happy that John
and
did it.
grabbing also.
Thanks. John did a great job at. We didn't really expect. Nobody of us expected that it turned out like this. We were all, and again, nobody expected it. But again, also the fact that I could involve my group, the band members, was also hoping that at one point they also get a story told like this deep. Not just one interview or one article, but again, also because we're all equally capable. So not just because I do the groundwork means that I should reap all the benefits. Not necessarily.
Yeah, I understand what you mean.
It's very important. And again, it existed. It was before. I don't see a reason why it shouldn't come back.
Did you speak with John about it?
Yes. I mean, John. I think he's also very creatively inclined. So I think he also does things where he wants to go somewhere. He goes for it.
It would be cool to do like a special about a group of friends and then give 10 or 15 minutes.
That would have been
each.
wonderful, man. Like even more. Like as far as I'm concerned, like a Netflix series about my band. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the format where everybody can tell their own story, because again, equally interesting. But
you just gotta pitch it, like they say in Dutch, nee heb je, ja kan je krijgen. It's like the same.
That's the thing. But sometimes people also deserve it, and I was just lucky that's luck.
Yeah.
That's gratitude. But that's what I mean by it shouldn't always come out of own initiative. Sometimes we should have much more recognition in that sense as musician artists, not just vocalists or commercially viable singers, that deserve their own rep, like series on, also the people behind these people that are sometimes even more gifted. We all know that. It's not even a secret, deserve the same amount of attention. I know it doesn't work like that. I know it. I don't agree with it. But we should get to a point that it becomes more normalized. To appreciate the
it's really like it's I'm just my producer brain goes into like it needs resources, needs to have, it is possible, it just needs it needs the right people.
We all know that. We all know that. But as I think this is an example of that, there's people that are out there that are willing to do it. So that's the one, when you're talking about what's the awkward part about it? It wasn't, I would like for it to happen, that it might happen to just a bit more people actually. Or another young prospect, talented, has a story, and follow them or something.
For sure. Yeah, wow.
All those things is very important, man. Because this will also,
I mean, of course, this is it just makes me think about what we're doing here. I mean, in the sense of we're building a platform right now. We have like these visions, what we want to do in the future, and all that stuff.
Keep
and
on doing it.
But that's the thing, that it's like to hear the stories, and then eventually make films about the people that come here, and eventually be able to platform the humanity of each person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What time is it?
Well, it's 2:30. I just gotta be home to pick up my kid. Pretty much that's it.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
Man, it's been, we can sit for
It's
for
been
hours.
good, man. We gotta do part 3 soon.
Of course, man. Of course.
But yeah,
I want to do it with your band, man.
let's bring the group. Let's
Yeah,
do that. Let's do it.
We're gonna do because there's a possibility. I will talk after this because something with Visselord, but we will talk when because I don't want to put things out there.
No, I get it. But let's bring the group.
Yeah,
Man, you'll die laughing.
Of course. I want to do the hang. We were talking about like just also ridiculous stuff. I mean, because again, we live in this like fishbowl mentality of people. It's like 1 minute here, 1 minute 60 seconds,
exactly.
and it's.
I mean, when the guys are here, I won't even talk that much. It's like I would sit down and have them tell their stories. Because man, they have so much more stories than.
Man, that would be awesome, bro.
Let's do it, man.
Man, for sure.
We're gonna shake hands on it on camera.
We're shaking hands. It's gonna happen.
You can see it.
It's gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yoran, thank you so much for doing this, brother.
Cool.
Really, really. I can't wait also
nice
for
one.
us to
Next
hit it again.
coming year,
17th of January.
Yeah.
Paradox, yeah.
we're gonna be there.
Gonna be there. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And then actually we're turning into a quintet.
Yep. Oh, he's already gonna join us from there.
He's gonna join from there. We're gonna do like a couple of compositions. Yeah, I'm bringing a couple of compositions.
Okay.
And but then what we're doing in April already is a full quintet. So
Oh yeah, the one beginning.
in Nijmegen.
Yeah,
Gin.
Gin, eh? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nice people are. They're good people.
Man, Harold is great, man.
Yeah,
It's really-
I met him like the other. I was doing a concert.
Yeah,
I
Harold
forgot,
is really
but,
nice.
man,
Very
he's
nice. We
good.
were talking. It was just like
It's gonna be in the vereniging.
I think
No,
so.
er is eentje aan het water daar.
Dat
Zo,
weet
wat
ik
is de naam
eigenlijk
van
niet.
het podium?
Gin, gewoon J-I-1.
Ja, dat is de stichting.
Oh, dat is de stichting. Ik weet het eigenlijk
Oké,
niet. Ik heb geen
they
idee.
use like different spots en ze gebruiken verschillende ruimtes in Nijmegen.
Nu spreken wij Nederlands met elkaar, maar het is eigenlijk
Oké,
het is
Zijn we
helemaal
nog
oké.
bezig of...
We kunnen gewoon dat
Ja, toch?
even bij. Everybody, thank you so much. Yoran, thank you for doing this, man. Is there anything you want to plug, actually? Oh,
No, sorry, yeah. Well,
you have some
if we're in the
stuff,
spirit, yeah, I mean, like, we would like to invite everybody to come to Paradiso.
Paradiso, 7th of December.
7th of December,
Very
afternoon
important.
concert. We start at 2:30. So yes, in the spirit of plugging, do come and celebrate with us. man,
Because this is coming out in a week and a half. Actually, we could put the ticket sale there if you want.
Oh,
also.
wonderful! Thanks,
of
please.
course,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course,
I mean,
of course.
like,
That's not-
it's
not
going to
even
be
a
our
question.
Paradiso debut. So
2:30, Paradiso, 7th
Yeah.
of December.
It's a Sunday, so bring the family, everybody.
Man, I'm coming for sure, bro.
All right, thank you.
Joao, he's not there. He's probably picking up some food for us or the other guest. Joao, thank you. You're going to hear it in the recording.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us here at Into the Score. We are so happy to host this, to do this. You know how it is. You know how it's going. Like and subscribe, please. And we will see you at the gig.
Thank you. All right,
Awesome,
nice,
brother.
bro.